Welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics, brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome into Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I am Todd Allum. Joining me for the first segment, head coach of women's basketball, Kyle Cooper. Coach, welcome back to the show. It's been a good while since we've done one of these, the Christmas break. How was your holidays? I got to assume with kids, it's kind of like the rest of everybody. It's in Christmas songs. We're not really happy the kids are back in school.
Yeah, I mean, we had a phenomenal Christmas. We had a phenomenal New Year, and it was great to get time off with them and kind of decompress a little bit and spend time. But I can tell you, after they had the additional week plus of being off, it was kind of nice getting back and start getting back into a routine here. And obviously getting back to games was nice, too, because it was a little bit of layover there. So good to be back on the show, though, and appreciate you guys as always.
It's been 5 games since the last time we've had one of these shows. The Toppers, in that time, beat a very good West Virginia State team on the road. Bailey Smith in that period of time also picked up her 1,000th career point as a Hilltopper.
Yeah, it was definitely a good win for us to go on the road in conference and get one. Anytime you can steal one on the road, it's a big deal. And as our league is progressing here, we're seeing that, Fairmont is becoming the Fairmont that we thought they were going to be. And then it's kind of a logjam after that. So it'll be interesting to see how things play. The next couple of weeks will be very, very telling. And there's a lot of basketball left, though. There's a ton of basketball. But really, really excited for Bay. I mean, for her to get that 1,000th point, it's a testament to not only, some of the adversity that she's weathered over her college career and stayed true to her process and grown up in her process at the same time, but really, really proud of her, hitting that milestone. And obviously we want to continue to win games while hitting these milestones. So that's the ultimate thing that I know she wants and we want right now.
And the first game back from the break was at Frostburg State. This was a game weather-wise I thought might be canceled just because of the travel there. That had to be a little bit rough, but the Toppers come up a little bit short at Frostburg State. Your take on that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think last week in general was kind of both games, you look at things and you go, we just weren't good enough at playing complementary basketball. And when we are playing our brand of basketball, it is that way. It's sound defense that makes people earn things, and in turn it leads us to get a lot of live ball stops, which then leads us to play in transition more so than after a make. And then offensively, it's taking care of the basketball, playing with pace and so on, and working for good shots. And we were just really inconsistent in that. And when one's kind of affecting the other and vice versa, it makes for an uphill battle. But you got to give Frostburg, you got to give Fairmont credit. Kind of outplayed us for longer stretches of the game than we outplayed them. So not a week that we're sitting there smiling about, but it's a week that we learned a lot about ourselves from. And as we continue to define our own success, I do think there was a lot of good takeaways. I think that we continue to see that when we stack communication, when you stack it with competing constantly, and then you start to see the execution side with the IQ, we're the team we want to be. And through weathering some of the inconsistencies with roster availability and so on, we're seeing players grow up. There's been some highlights there. We're seeing, Olivia Baker starts her first 2 games and plays well. Katie Lucarelli is emerging as a player that we can bring a ton of value off the bench for us. And with, adversity comes opportunity sometimes, and some people are taking advantage of that, which is huge. But our core group is continuing to weather any and all storms, and I'm proud of that for them. And we got to click more consistently with the complementary side of basketball.
In that Fairmont State game, after Frostburg, the Toppers would come home, the first game at home since the Christmas break. The Toppers were shorthanded. Unfortunately, Carly Anker injured. We'll see how much longer she'll be out. Hopefully she can come back. But like you said, Olivia Baker stepped up big time in that one, coming off the bench. For a while there, she was going shot for shot with Bailey Smith hitting 3-pointers in that game against Fairmont State. We saw Bailey ended up with 17 points. Jenna Ricardo had 13. Olivia Baker had 12. All scored double digits against Fairmont State. Both Baker and Smith had 4 3-pointers. Baker and Ricardo both had 6 rebounds in this one. So shorthanded Toppers playing against one of the top teams in the conference. Is going to be one of the top teams in the region as well. Coach Anderson has done a tremendous job so far this year.
She has, and her and I go way back. We came up in coaching together, and it's good to see her do well. I don't like when she does well against us, but you got to give your hats off, because much like our approach as a coaching staff, she has been very true to who she wants to be, who she is at the core as a person and as a coach, and what she's kind of seen is a team that's bought in over the years, and now she's got a very, very veteran roster. I mean, you're talking about, I think, 7 of her top 9 players, 6 of her top 7 or so are juniors, seniors, or 5th years, with a lot of them being 5th years. So you see kind of the fruits of the labor of buying in and trusting process and staying true to who you are rewarded. And she's also done a lot of good for herself when it comes to scheduling tough, and now she's representing the league very, very well. For us, you got to play a team like that. You got to play them well. And again, just the way last week went for us, when you're averaging whatever it was, 16, 18 points given up off of turnovers, and those are the kind of the pick six ones, if you will, it's hard to weather that. And that's what I talk about when I'm talking about the complementary basketball. If we're not valuing it at the highest level and we're not defending on top of it, it makes it very, very hard. And there were just, stretches that it wasn't that way. And then there were other stretches where, things look really, really good for us at times. And I know that's hard sometimes for people to see, but we know who we are and what's going on in the game.
Well, coming up for the Toppers, not too far off, tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. here at the ASRC. Concord comes to town. What can we expect to see from the Mountain Lions?
Yeah, I think they're playing pretty well right now, and I think that they've got a brand of basketball that they can play a lot of different ways. So you've got to be ready to stay true to your brand of basketball and handle whatever they throw at you. We could see tons of different defenses thrown at us. We can see kind of open post. Abby Smith is going to continue to be a dominant post player in our league, and then she's got a lot of pieces around her. Their guard play is very solid, but it'll be a good test for us at home. I like being at home for the game, obviously, first against them versus on the road. But I think that we're going to see a team that bounces back and has learned something from last week, and I think we're going to have an opportunity to be worthy of winning. And then we won't have much break because we hit the road then to go see a talented and a team that's playing well right now in Glenville State. So big week ahead, huge opportunity for us to go 1-0 twice, and that's what we're going to attempt to do.
Well, we've seen it a lot throughout the years here. The second half of the season, the Lady Toppers have come alive. I surely expect to see that again. We've seen it many times throughout the years with Coach Cooper. Coach, thank you for being with us today. Good luck tomorrow night. Again, Topper Nation, get up to the ASRC tomorrow night. That's Wednesday the 15th at 5:30 p.m. The Toppers take on Concord. Coach, again, thank you for being with us.
Yep.
We'll see you tomorrow night and
Appreciate
next
you.
week for another show. Folks, stick around. We'll be right back for another segment of Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Ben Hallett. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
And welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Joining me for the second segment, the head coach, Ben Hallett, men's basketball coach. It's been a good while since we've had one of these shows. It's going to be that way for all these coaches we talked to today, but I believe 6 games have been played since our last show. The Toppers went out to Vegas, played a couple very good basketball teams out there, went 1-1. Your take on the Vegas trip?
First off, great tournament for us to go to, really good teams, and I thought our guys spent a lot of time together, got to know each other better, so that's always a good thing. And then obviously playing Colorado School of Mines, ultra talented team, knew we had our hands full coming into the tournament, got their best shot, and I thought it was just a great game for our guys, a great game for our fans, and pulled away and just scored more points than they did at the end of the game, and it was back and forth all game, and got off to a bad start again, but overcame that. Second game, Missouri S&T, played, I think, 18 hours after our Colorado School of Mine games. Not our best game. Just was flat. I don't know if we were fatigued, tired. I don't know what it was, but just did not put together 2 halves of basketball, and got down and fought back, but then did some uncharacteristic things for us in the second half, and just didn't score enough points. But overall, big picture wise of that tournament, thought it was great for our team, and knew we were going to go out there and play 2 really good teams, and I thought we got better because of that tournament.
The Toppers would come back, their first conference game after the break. They would travel to Frostburg State. I said the same thing to Coach Cooper. I thought that would be one that had a possibility of being canceled just because of the weather on the trip out there. But the Toppers, a tight one, would fall at the very end, 102-100. Quickly after that, get to come back home and take on a big rival in Fairmont State, a top 10 matchup in the country, not just the region or conference. This was 2 top teams in the nation. How was that bounce back, or just the mentality going into Fairmont after the game at Frostburg?
Yeah, so starting with Frostburg, everyone wants to blame it on rust or, we hadn't played in a while. That wasn't the case. We took our foot off the gas pedal is what we did. And I thought it was a good lesson for our team to learn because I thought our guys just showed up and thought we were going to win because, maybe we have a better record than them. And did not play hard, did not play our brand of basketball, did some things that just didn't make any sense to me as a head coach, and ultimately it falls on me. And because of that game, we come back on Saturday and play a top 10 team in Fairmont State, and I was glad we played them. I didn't want to play a team that maybe we were better than. I wanted to play a team that was going to challenge us, and if we didn't correct our mistakes, it was going to show. So changed the lineup a little bit, went with a couple different starters and changed the platoons, and really thought our guys played our brand. Like, if there was West Liberty basketball in a nutshell, that game was it. And, I sped up the substitutions. It was almost like a hockey substitution, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, and I thought our guys really grasped the game plan. And I thought we went in there with the mentality of, we're going to try and wear these guys out, and I thought we did that. But give credit to Fairmont. They never quit, and we could never fully pull away from them. So I didn't feel good until around a minute and a half to 2 minutes in the game, until we got the win. But just a great win for us. But like we talked about yesterday, we got to keep it going. We can't feel good about one game. We need to keep this going, and hopefully it continues tomorrow.
And that final score for the Toppers against Fairmont State, 103-87. Kyler D'Agostino led all scorers with 24 points. J.J. Harper, 19 points and a great all-around performance. Daniel Autry, 12 points. Cameron Tinsley, 11. It seemed like everybody was doing well. Vadim Clinette had a couple big shots. Dragas had a couple big-time plays defensively as well. Everybody stepping up there. The Toppers finished with 26 assists on 36 made field goals. We were talking about that throughout the broadcast, Scott and I. Is that really some kind of emphasis that you have? You want to get assists on a lot of shots?
Yeah, I think so. I think what we want is just high percentage shots with guys in rebounding position. That's kind of what we talk about. And, we have players that can beat guys off the bounce and get to the rim, but we're such a better team when we're moving the basketball. And I thought, the reason we played so well and the reason we won is I thought our pressure was really good. And we talked about it yesterday with the team. We had really good hands. We got deflections and made every pass challenged, and got some easy stuff in return from our turnovers that we created. So when we're able to do that, we can be a very dangerous team. And again, I thought you saw that versus Fairmont State.
And Fairmont kind of switched it up defensively as well, started playing some zone defense against you. How do you feel like the team did against that zone?
Yeah, I think for the first couple possessions maybe stunned us a little bit and we struggled, but we have some guys on our team that are really good against his zone. Finn Woodward is a guy that, his ability to pass is really high, and he leads our team in assists, and he's our quote-unquote big guy, right? So his ability to pass is really high, and then Vadim is a great passer for a big, and, we have some guys that can score underneath that zone, and J.J. Harper and Kyler. So, when teams go zone, we don't necessarily, it doesn't bother us. In the olden days it did, but not anymore. I feel pretty good against his zone.
And it was great to watch a guy like Cameron Tinsley, a freshman, come in. It seems like anything you ask him to do, he's able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's growing right in front of our eyes, right? Like he's becoming a better player, and he's always had the ability to make shots, to make threes, on the perimeter. But he's starting to do other things now. He's starting to rebound, and he's starting to pass the ball a little bit better. And we're going to continue to work on him defensively. And I think another guy that's really improving is JP. You kind of already talked about him, but those are two true freshmen. They were playing high school basketball this time last year, and now both of them are on our starting rotation, and they're playing against a top 10 team in the country, and did really well. So proud of those two guys.
Well, now the Toppers have to move on, get over the big win. Now it's on to another game. Concord comes to town tomorrow night, 7:30 here at the ASRC. It's Wednesday the 15th. What can we expect to see from the Mountain Lions?
Yeah, first off, they're 2-0 since the break. They had a long break. They're 2-0. Just beat D&E in overtime. Two guards are really good. They're experienced. Corey Boston and Colin Tolbert, both two guys that kind of make them go. And then they've got a lot of other guys that have been there for a while. So I don't know if they're as deep as they've been in the past, but they have a lot of experience returning. And, obviously we've gone against Concord and Coach May quite a bit. So he's beaten us before. He knows what it takes to go against our pressure. And, really looking forward to playing tomorrow. I think that's the positive thing is now we're in a routine. Now we're in the practice, play, play, and really looking forward to the crowd tomorrow. I think we're going to have a great crowd, and hopefully we can play good tomorrow.
Yeah, folks, again, that's 7:30 tomorrow night, Wednesday, the 15th of January. The women play at 5:30, so get up here to watch the doubleheader. Coach, thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us. Folks, we'll be right back for more Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Kyle Cooper. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Joining me now, the indoor track coach, Jason Falvo. Coach, not much going on over the Christmas break for the track team, but it's coming up here shortly.
Yeah.
Having all the participants or teammates, players come back, how have things been going so far on campus?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be back. Certainly when you lose attachment to your team over the 4-week Christmas break, you get nervous. Are they in shape? Are they working? What are they doing? A lot of cookies going around at Christmas time. Like, how's it going? So good to be back. We certainly could have came in early. We did not. And we're an incredibly young team, right? So yesterday, first day back, a little rusty, we'll say, but excited for the talent that we have and the progression that we have, especially with such a young team. So we sit in a pretty good spot. So we'll see how today's practice goes. Today's our endurance day. Like today, we get after it. So we'll see where they're really at. We had 2 people go early before this interview, did not do so well. So we'll see how the next group goes later today.
When you were a college athlete, was this one of those practice days that you kind of dreaded?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was Monday for us in college, and now it's Tuesday for them. But, yeah. Nobody's happy today on practice. Like, they walk in grumpy.
Well, coming up, the next meet you will have is January 18th, Muskingum University in New Concord, Ohio.
Yeah. And get after it. So we look forward to seeing a little bit of rust, a little bit of good, and we'll just see what we get. And it's a good opportunity for us in a low-key small meet to go compete. We'll see a couple conference schools at this meet, and we'll get a chance to stack up a little bit, as we get ready to go for the next 8 weeks or so before we get to conference. So should be a good rust buster, we'll call. And we're going there to work, so we're not necessarily – there's different meets that you go to that you're really trying to get a performance or you're tapering or peak for whatever word you want to use. This is certainly not one of them. We're going there to work and get ourselves back in the track mindset to progress as we go through the season. So it should be a lot of fun. Weather looks good, thank goodness. Last year we went to this meet. It was not so great, so we'll be good.
And then on January 31st and
Yeah.
February 1st, back-to-back days. You're going Youngstown State and then also Penn State.
Yeah.
Back-to-back or at the same time, I guess you could say. How are we divvying those ones up?
Yeah, so we'll go Muskingum this week. We'll go to Ashland University next week. The week after that is the Youngstown State that you're talking about on January 31st and the 1st. We'll take some of our top, I guess, with elite top-end kids that can qualify for that National Open at Penn State. There's certainly a qualifying standard for that. And we'll kind of progress through. Again, different focuses for each event. I think next week at Ashland we'll really try to put some times down. It's a fast track, 300-meter track, small meet, good competition. Let's go work. Go to Youngstown State with the majority of the team on that 2-day meet. First opportunity for our multis to get after it. They got snowed out in December. We talked about that. First opportunity for them. Getting closer to outdoor championships, so now we're starting to calculate some qualifying standards and some of those processes. And then after those 2 meets that you talked about at Youngstown State and Penn State, we'll actually take the majority of the team to Penn State to run in a pretty much a high-level D2 meet to go up to that complex and, have a good time.
Well, this is basically just a preview show for us.
Yeah.
Not a ton going on in the Christmas break for the track team, so we got a couple more minutes for the segment. We'll give folks at home, I guess, an inside look as to what we talk about behind the scenes when the camera is off.
Yeah.
NFL playoffs have been going on
Yeah.
for Steelers people. I'm not a Tomlin hater. I know you very much enjoy Coach Tomlin. I understand that there's not many coaches out there that are better than him at this point. But I think there are potential guys, just like when he was 34, 36 years old, got the Steelers job out of nowhere after being a coordinator for a year. There could be potential for that as well. I've just seen Tomlin. It's the same thing over and over and over again. And after 8 years, when I hear the standard is the standard, it has become Mike Tomlin's standard as a head coach, not the Steelers' standard. And that's
a hot take.
It's the truth. Ask any. I'm serious. That's what it is. It's become Mike Tomlin's standard, not the Steelers' standard. And when you saw those things kind of happen, I know they're saying he hasn't had a quarterback. Well, he had Ben for how many years after that first Super Bowl he won with, the only Super Bowl he's won. And he's had some teams. A lot of years from that first Super Bowl and Ben's elbow getting injured and being out for the year and then coming back and not being what he was. A lot of time.
Sure.
And I know the Patriots and some of their,
Yeah.
they're kind of cheating a little bit. I get it. But I think if the Patriots can fire Belichick, I think the Steelers could fire Tomlin.
So I'll just say from the coaching perspective, I'm not in the business of firing coaches, right? So, I mean, certainly there's a fandom in this process where the Steelers underperformed in a lot of ways this year. If you want my, Jason Favreau thoughts on Mike Tomlin, I think he's just not hired. His staff is not correct. When they were good, offensive coordinator and Todd Haley, legendary Dick LeBeau as defensive coordinator, and he let them work as a young coach. As Tomlin's got older, he's developed his staff through the program, and they just haven't worked. It just hasn't worked. So, to me, I think 90% of it is the internal staff, not necessarily him and his message. And then when you don't have a quarterback and you only got one wide receiver who's a little bit of a diva, and you can't run the ball, and your offensive line is pulling into each other during course of the meet, to me that's a staffing thing. Attention to detail, we talk about it a ton in the coaching world. Attention to detail matters, no matter what event. So when you're not getting that attention to detail and that's a product that you're showing, to me that's a staffing thing. Very well could be Coach Tomlin. Very well could be the staff. Could be a lot of things, like the athletes and some of those things. But, yeah, I'm not in the business of firing that guy. But when you watched last night the Monday Night Football game and you watched Sean McVay and the Rams and Matt Stafford light up the Vikings, you kind of go, huh. But then it's Matt Stafford and it's Sean McVay, so.
And I can remember hearing rumors before we got Russ that there was potential, and it was just for a couple weeks, I think, potential trade to possibly get Matt Stafford. I was all for it.
Yeah, he was on the blocks, yeah.
That would have been tremendous. If the Steelers have gotten Matt Stafford, this year goes way differently.
Yeah.
There's no one that can convince me otherwise. He is
Yeah.
much better than Russ, much better than any quarterback
Yeah.
we've had on the roster since Ben injured his elbow.
And we're still not going to have
No.
great quarterback play next year.
Nope.
So good luck to Steeler Nation.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. That's our Steeler talk for the day. You heard it here, folks. We try to do it as succinct as possible, as quickly as we can get it in there.
Yeah.
But, Coach, next time we speak, will we have? I believe that. Does that meet happen this Saturday?
Yeah. We'll have the
We'll have
Muskegon
something
meet.
to talk
Yeah.
about for
for sure.
track coming up on the next show. Thank you for being here with us this
Happy to do it.
afternoon. And we will see you the next time, Coach. Or folks, stick around. We'll be right back for more Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
All right.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Ben Hallett. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Joining me for this segment, the head coach of men's wrestling here at West Liberty University, Coach Danny Irwin. a lot of meets and duels since the last time we had a show. It's been a good while. The Toppers have done pretty well for themselves. I'm not going to go to the extent to say dominant. I'm not trying to put that out there and put bulletin board material for anybody, but did extremely well over the Christmas break. December 22nd, right before Christmas, the Hilltopper duels 28-14 against Millersville, and then 2019 against Ohio Northern. The Toppers did pretty well for themselves in that one.
Yeah, it was a good way to close out that front half, being at home, while at the same time and having our women's team wrestle their first ever, home duel, taking out Hiram, and just, Millersville is just they've been a really good program since Coach Boland's, taken over, and just, it's a good duel every year. There's some really good matches inside that duel, and just ultimately coming out on top of that. And then we had a barn burner against, Ohio Northern, which, came right down to the wire. It finished as a tie dual meet. We ended up winning on, I think, the third criteria, the most overall points. And I think one of the things that was exciting about that, just there's, you don't think about a point here, a point there, and was the criteria. We beat them 50 points to 49 points based on matches that weren't finished in the fall, and we both had a fall in that match. So, some guys continue to scratch and claw and stay in matches, and that proved to be the difference for us to come out victorious. But no matter what, I thought we actually lost that duel, and I really liked the way we competed, the atmosphere that we had, and it was just a good way, to come out being announced a winner, and it was a good way to go off into, our guys having some time home and enjoy family and friends.
So the Toppers got to enjoy those victories, then come back, take on a school rival. We talked about this. Basketball, men and women just played Fairmont State. It's a school rivalry, not just a sports-specific rivalry. The Toppers did pretty well for themselves against Fairmont as well. The Toppers would eventually get an impressive 170.5 points, finishing well above the front runner-up in Apprentice. Just did a tremendous job.
Yeah, it was fun to get back. We were on short, I would say, timetable training-wise, but you would have never known. Essentially we trained for 5 days, competed, and you would have never known guys were back home, and they had some days off, some days that they weren't wrestling, and they needed that. And to come back, we picked up right where we left off, and it showed, I think, at Fairmont that day. We had a couple weight classes where we had 2 in the finals. With James Armstrong winning at 133. I know Oliver Byerly and Toby Abbott were in the finals at 174. Alec Cook, won his weight class. I think he had maybe a JUCO All-American in his weight class, and another guy that was pretty tough. And just ultimately, there was a lot of good moments. I think I talked about it, and one of them was just Bryson Neidig, who from Eastern PA area, that just the match he wrestled. It's some of those matches that got Alec Cook's names in the spotlight quite a bit, but Bryson's maybe isn't. But that was probably a match for me that was really satisfying. It was something that he's put a lot of time in, and I know he wants to be a Scholar All-American, but on top of being a Scholar All-American, he wants to win matches, and that match meant a lot to me. I think it meant a lot to his teammates on how he got it done.
And speaking of Alec Cook as well, he was named MEC Wrestler of the Week on January 6th. So we're going back a little bit, but after that FSU Open, Alec Cook was honored by the conference. The Toppers would then move on to a big one, the NWCA National Duels. 3 standout wrestlers delivered undefeated performances there. Ty McGeary, James Armstrong, Parker Bentley all did tremendous for the Toppers.
Yeah, it was a good trip. Like traveling out to Iowa at this time of the year can have its own adversity to it, but it helps simulate the national tournament for us. So guys like a Logan and a lot of these freshmen that a long day of travel, get a workout in sometime that day. Long day in the hotel, get a workout in that day, get your weight down, and then compete, back-to-back days. And, we hit McKendree and Glenville State back-to-back. They were the 4 and 5 seeds in the bracket, and, that helps simulate, that opening session of the national tournament, or, essentially that regional tournament that we have where, if that first one doesn't go your way, you got to turn around and get it done. Or hey, maybe the first one does go your way, that you're not counting your chickens. And so I really liked some of the things that we did, and from Logan to James to just up and down the lineup, that the guys that we took out there, they made weight really well. They supported each other really well. Guys were getting themselves ready, so if their number got called, they were ready to step up, and a number of them did that throughout the weekend. I don't think we competed the same lineup once out of those 4 times. And I can't say I'm happy being 1-3, but the manner in which we competed. We had a lot of big wins. Carter Weingartner, who's in his 5th year here at West Liberty, he's never started for us. He's never been right there at the top of a weight class for us, and he's ascended into that this year. And out at the national duels, he takes out a returning All-American, number 2 kid in the country. Very next match, he now wrestles the number 1 kid in the country. I think he loses 13 to 11 or 10. It was within a takedown, and just for him to have that kind of weekend, I think speaks volumes to what our program's doing. I think it really sheds some light for these younger guys. Like, hey, that guy, he stayed to it, and I know Carter's not going to hang his hat on this past weekend, but there's a lot of good moments like that for us.
And a good moment again for the Toppers. Also, Ty McGeary once again won MEC Wrestler of the Week, so back-to-back for the Toppers. How often or how much do you, the coaching staff, or even the wrestlers talk about winning awards like that?
I don't think the MEC Wrestler of the Week stuff's really talked about it. I think sometimes, if anything, we're joking around about stuff that, hey, you win a match, now you're acting like this. Come on, but just poking fun at him. But Ty's a ton of fun. He had a really good weekend. Probably for a lot of people, just another award for a guy. 2 majors, 2 pins. Yeah, in his first match, he's wrestling a guy that's been, I think, an All-American before, is ranked nationally. He starts the match off down 9-2. And, our bench is silent outside of our coaches. McKendry's bench is pretty loud and excited, and he comes back and gets a major decision in that match. And just a testament to his wrestling, how he focuses on whether it's a highly touted guy or not. His approach is really consistent across the board. And even our match against UIndy, they have a 197-pounder that has been in the finals 3 times. He's won it once, is a returning champ, and we were going to wrestle Ty up against that guy. Ty was really excited about it. Fortunately, they didn't put the guy out there, but that speaks testament. He wants to be tested. He gets himself ready every single time, and just is a great role model for all our young guys and older guys, and just for our coaches to just have fun with and be around day in and day out.
Coming up for the Toppers, Mount Union Open January 19th at 9 a.m. What can we expect to see from that Open?
Well, we're going to see just about everybody that's not in our starting lineup. There'll be a couple of guys that were competing in our starting lineup this past weekend out in Iowa that will wrestle in it. But it's nice to be close to home and a tournament setting where there won't be a team score kept, but another opportunity to develop and figure some things out. We still have a couple weight classes we need to figure out, but kind of gives our starters from this past weekend that just had some extra time to focus on a little bit more development, and that maybe not a competition right in their face. And then for our other guys that, hey, they get a chance to swing it again and keep proving maybe they should be in the lineup.
Well, Coach, good luck to you. Good luck to your wrestlers coming up on the 19th at Mount Union. Folks, go ahead and pay attention to that one. It's going to be a good one for the Toppers. Be safe on your travels there and back, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next week on another episode of Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Kyle Cooper. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. In our final segment, we've got women's wrestling and head coach Troy Bell. Coach, welcome back to the show. It's been a little while since we've done one of these things. How was your holiday break?
That was good. It was good. The ladies went home for 6 days, and we got them back here right before the new year so we can start training and get ready for upcoming events.
Now, the last show that we had, you said that there were a couple wrestlers that possibly maybe didn't want to go home. They wanted to continue to work, and they were just going to stay at your house with you and your wife. I don't think that happened.
No, that didn't happen. They went home, and they said they was going to come back early, but they didn't. So
good.
Yeah. They went home, enjoyed themselves, and came back ready to train.
Well, good. They put the work in at home, and they come back. Did it show? It did. The events that the Toppers went through during that Christmas break, wow, I'm not going to go as far. I'm not going to give bulletin board material.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing I said with Coach Irwin, but the Toppers did tremendous when they went to Sandusky, the Heidelberg University, the Kalahari Duels, 57-0 against Waynesburg, 35-18 against Otterbein, 34-22 Mount Union, 48-11 against Alfred State, and 52-6 against John Carroll. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. Your take on what it was out in Sandusky?
No, it was a good trip, of course. I mean, results were, go 5-0 is always a good day, but the fact that it was the first time this year we had the full lineup in, and it really showed. The girls supported each other really well, and it's exciting to come away 5-0, and we got a lot of compliments being a first-year program, but I think it's time to put that first-year program stuff to bed. And let's move on. I consider the first-year program was first semester. Now it's time to move on and let's start peaking and getting ready for nationals.
Well, I got a few more things to say on that,
Yeah.
the first year
Okay.
stuff, and then we'll be done forever.
Yeah.
The Toppers came back to the ASRC December 22nd, right before Christmas, and had the first ever home duel. The Toppers did very well for themselves as well against Hiram College. 40-17 was the final. Cynthia Pyatt dominated hers. 11-0 tech fall. She is now 7-5. Nia Miranda at 160, the nation's number 6 wrestler. She did very well. 10-0 tech fall in hers. Janie Shapton also did really well. She got the pin, and a victory marked her 6th dual victory of the season.
Yeah, and they were 9-2 dual record. So we dropped our matches against McKendree and North Central, and those are the things we're still working for, and we look forward to maybe seeing those teams again at nationals. But it's been a great first semester, so and got us ready for the Hilltopper Open.
Yeah, and that's what was next. The first ever Hilltopper Open for women's wrestling here at West Liberty University. Did really well for themselves in this one as well. The Toppers just continue to dominate, it seems. Again, I can't help it, but in that first year, it is just incredible. I know they're not first-year wrestlers, and you're not a first-year coach, so maybe your expectations are a little different for everyone else around here. That it's new to us, but it's just a tremendous job throughout. Again, the Hilltopper Open, 6 wrestlers capturing their individual championships in their respective weight classes. Just a great job overall.
Yeah, I was really excited. I mean, be able to open with like that, the six champions, 2 runner-ups, but being able to host the tournament, hopefully we'll build on that. And it was a great team atmosphere for them. Their family was there. They really supported each other, and we really wrestled really, really well. I mean, the results tell that, but it's not all about the results. We really wrestled well, and as a coach, it kind of makes me nervous, and I'm trying to break down film and seeing some things we need to work on. But we're advancing really well, and I'm really pleased with them.
Is this kind of when the season began? Is this where you expected to be right after the Christmas break, starting in the second semester?
Yeah, I've always coached in I break it down in training pods, and I always put expectations and make sure those expectations become standards. So I don't want to say I expected to be right here, but yeah, that was expectations, especially with all the veterans I was bringing in, and we are a veteran strong team, even though first year, as you're alluded to, but the veterans, I think it's easy to have those expectations.
For the younger player, for the younger wrestlers that have come in, maybe not quite as acclimated to the college wrestling style that some of the upperclassmen are, how do you feel their development to this point has been compared to where you expected it to be?
Well, I think their development is ahead of schedule, and it's evident with them. But they've accepted the schedule of being a college athlete. It's not about just the hour and a half in the room. Today I spent an hour with some of the freshmen. 2 of them came in, and we went over film. So they're actually doing the extra work because they see the veterans doing it. So it's easy to coach athletes like that. They understand that it's not about the work they put in the room with the team, but are we being intentional daily and intentional weekly? So I think their work ethic, along with the veterans, is the reason why they've advanced so quickly.
Oh, the Toppers have a quick turnaround. January 19th, travel down to Tennessee, the King Open at King University. What can we expect from down in Tennessee?
No, it's always excited. I went to the King Open for several years now. We'll continue to go there. They always bring in top quality teams. The fans there are very educated about the wrestling. There's a rich tradition there at King University. I mean, they've had Olympians, Hall of Fame coach there. So it's always good to smack hands with those type of girls and competitors, because that's who we're going to see at nationals. That's who we're going to see at the U.S. Open, the World Trials, and things like that. So we'll continue to go there as long as I'm coaching, because I think it's one of the better tournaments and it's a lot of good competition.
For the second semester, I guess, since this is a sport that goes through first and second semester, is there a different thought now? Now you kind of get to the middle of the season, towards not the end, but we're getting to the middle of the thick of things. Does the mindset change a little bit with coaching in terms of turning up the volume a little bit or getting the gears grinding a little faster?
Yeah, it definitely changes. The first semester we're dual driven on our schedule. We're doing a lot of what we call the drill card, where we're working on technique, and now we're going to pick that up. We do a lot of live sparring, a lot of what we call play wrestling, and figuring out situations on our own. The girls are experienced now, and they're starting to understand a little bit of freestyle. The freshmen are the get to spar with those veterans, and figuring out situations on your own, how to wrestle through those tough situations. So we'll be doing a lot of live sparring this semester. I like it this way because we got opens every single weekend. So the schedule will be almost the same every week, as far as when we're training intensely, when we're backing off, when we're traveling, when we're competing. We repeat the process all the way to nationals.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us today. Good luck down at King in the travels to Tennessee. Be safe, and be safe on getting back too. Thank you for being here, folks. Actually, this is the last segment of the show. I'm going to say stick around. We will see you next week for another episode of Inside Hilltopper Athletics.